This is the coffee table that I am going to be upcycling, is that the word? Renovating in this video, and as you can see it is old. And it isn't old anymore, and I am officially in love. Keep watching, guys, if you want to know how I transformed that old ugly coffee table into this gorgeous new one that fits the space so much better. It is a lot bigger than the old one. And yeah, enjoy the video. Right, here are all the things you will need for this project, okay? You will need your wood. I bought sheets of this. I bought 5 planks for £30. They are approximately, I think they were about 12 foot in length, so I've got a lot of wood. You will need your screws, and you will need your screwdriver. This is a drill. I will put a screwdriver attachment in. You will need your wood glue, your sanding tool, your jigsaw to cut your wood, and to finish it off you will need your stain. So choose your stain. I've chose the walnut, and your top coat varnish, and then you will need to paint the legs, and I am going to be using this chalky finish chalk white by Rustoleum. Okay, we are outside. I have just had a go at sanding the top just to see if it would work, but you want to give this a really good sand. I am using a hand sander. I'm actually using one of these. It's just going to be easier long term, and I've just put a really coarse pad on there to get all of the rubbish off. And you want to go ahead and sand this, and then you want to use a fine sander just to get it as smooth as you can before you paint the bottom. I don't need to sand the top, but I'm sanding the top just because I just wanted to see, and it's so yellow, it's so piney. But I'm going to go ahead and finish sanding this. Alright, that is it sanded. I'm definitely not as patient as I thought I was. I completely gave up on sanding it by hand, and I figured I would make it work, and I got past the point of caring, but it will look amazing in the end. So yeah, that is it finished sanded. A few little bits, nooks and crannies that I'm not going to worry too much about, because this paint you don't really need to sand first. I just thought I'd do it just because I could. But yeah, so the next thing you want to do is cut your wood. Right guys, you're going to need to measure your table. Some people might just be happy with this and might just want to varnish the top, but the point of doing this whole thing is that my coffee table's not big enough. I really want a much bigger one. So you want to lay the wood out and measure it. How big do you want it? How wide do you want it? Length, width, and then cut your wood. Right, so I have measured my wood, and I've drawn a line. I'm not going to give you guys measurements, there's no point, your tables are all different sizes. You will need your baby, this is my baby. So you will need your jigsaw, and yeah, get cutting. I have needed for 6 pieces of wood, and it is going to overlap. Hold on, let me see. It's going to overlap 2 inches either side, and quite a bit, probably the same again, almost 2.5 on the edges. I am not happy with this wood. I mean, somebody did tell me, thanks Dave, that this wood that I bought from B&Q would be warped, it would not be straight, it wouldn't lay straight, they wouldn't lay butt up next to each other. He was unbelievably right. Kind of knew he would be because it's pine, and I'm just not paying out for oak and a more expensive wood. So the plan is to glue it until I can't possibly glue anymore, and then screw in from underneath to try and bring them all flatter, try and distort the wood somewhat. But you can see that is not laying straight at all, so I will go for the best piece I've got in the middle and then work around it, working outwards. You can already see the difference on this piece. So this is the first piece I cut, and it is flat, 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 completely flat against the wood. It doesn't rock at all, it's not warped. So I'm going to put this one smack bang in the centre, and hopefully the others will play the game. If not, I will just have to sand them down to within an inch of their life once I've screwed them all in place. Okay, to glue the wood down, I am using this Gorilla Glue for absolutely no reason other than I thought it was pretty. I want to pretend I know the difference between these glues, but I really don't. I just grabbed some wood glue, and I've heard of Gorilla Glue, and it says 100% tough, so it has to be, right? So that's what I'm going to use to glue these guys down, and let's get to it. Actually drying quite quickly, it's quite tacky quite quickly. That's better, feels better already. Right, let me make sure I've got the 2 inches overhang. Actually be better from a distance here, but that's the finished top on top. What I'm going to do now, you can see my edges are shambles, but I'm going to wait for that to dry, and my guess is the way it's drying, it's only going to take about 20 minutes. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then I'm going to flip the table completely on its head, and I'm going to start screwing in from underneath. I don't want to see the screws on the top, and that will hopefully just reinforce and pull all the wood together. And yeah, at the moment I'm just going to put some heavy things on top. I'm going to cut this long plank into 2 or 3 and then put it down on top and weight it with some books. Okay, that is the table at the moment. I have put so many books on it to try and get the glue to dry flat. But this wood, guys, is so warped, as I was told it would be, but it is. It's very, very warped. So it is going to be one big, big sanding job once I've screwed them all in place. Right, now I'm going to screw through the base of the table straight into the top. So I have bought some screws. I've bought some 38mm screws. You have to make sure the depth of your tabletop and the depth of the wood won't exceed this, otherwise they'll come through the top, but I've measured it and it's fine. I have my trusted electric screwdriver, manual just won't do it, so I'm just using my hand one, and hopefully it will work out just fine. Okay, that is the table flipped up around the right way. It's not as bad as it was when I first glued it together, so it's quite flat here. There's definitely one here that's quite warped, but I will be able to hopefully sand that down a bit. I'm not too bothered. I do want it to look rustic and farmhousey, so I'm not going to be devastated if there's a couple of little lips. Just have to be careful when you sit your stuff on. But yeah, this one here is big. Hopefully I'll be able to sand that down and it won't be noticeable. Lips here, but kind of knew that would happen. I was told the wood would warp, so yeah, but I think I'm going to be able to live with it. Okay, the next step for this is to wipe it down with a damp lint free cloth, and then we will go ahead and stain it. Okay, these are the products I'm going to use to stain the table and varnish the table. Again, I haven't, you know, I don't claim to know the best stains, the best products, but I like the look of these. And you know, Ronseal apparently does exactly what it says on the tin, so you know, I figure I can't go wrong. So I'm going to give this table a stain of walnut, and then I'm going to give it a clear coat of varnish. I've just noticed that says satin and that says matte. This is how much research I've done into this, guys. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. I don't know if matte can go on satin, but you know what, let's have a go. Right, as I've said, I've never done this before, guys, but I do know that you are meant to brush the stain on and rub it off real quick with a cloth. Right, this is the table with 2 coats. I actually think I preferred the first coat. Oh, but anyway, I've done 2 coats, but it's nice. It will look nice when the legs are white. I will be doing those probably tomorrow. And the top, I'm going to add some varnish to it. I'm going to add some clear matte varnish. It says on there, ideally, it should be 3 coats. So I'm going to go for 3 coats, and it's an hour between each coat. So I'm not going to do it today, but I will be doing it tomorrow. And yeah, I'll be filming that one too, to finish it off, and I can't wait. The last 2 steps is to varnish the top and paint the legs. I'm going to varnish the top first. So this is Matte Clear by Ronseal. and it does say you need 3 coats and leave an hour between the coats. So I'm just going to do this one now. You don't really need to see me do all 3, but you can just crack on and finish that. But I will start this coat to show you how easy it is to apply. I'm going to use a paintbrush and yeah, nice even layers of the varnish. You'll be able to see it go on. It's got a shine to it when it goes on, but it does dry matte. So it makes it nice and easy to see where you are, to make sure that the whole table is adequately covered. And after I've done this, then I will leave it to dry for an hour before applying the next coat, and then all 3 coats will be done and I'll be happy. Right, that is the first coat of varnish. You can see how shiny it is, so you can see pretty much where you've done it and where you have potentially not done it. So give that an hour and it'll be ready for coat number 2, and then coat number 3 an hour later, and then it'll be ready to paint the legs. Final part of the project is to paint the legs and paint the outside of the table around the edges using this chalk paint. So I'm going to start with this now. I'm going to crack on and I'll just show you the beginning, and then I will fast forward to the end and see the finished product. So this is the first time I'm ever using chalk paint, and it is so thick. I didn't actually realise how thick it was. So it's actually going on really well, but it's so thick. So it's leaving quite a lot of streaks. I might have maybe used a sponge, might have been a better applicator. But hopefully it will dry streak free. I can only hope. And I'm just going to finish off painting the rest of this, and then yeah, it will be all done. Right, that is the chalk paint done, and yeah, not my cup of tea at all. I've been listening for years, people going on and on and on about chalk paint. No, just no. It is thick. It is like painting with tar. But anyway, that's one coat on. I don't think I'll do a second coat. It might need a layer of clear varnish over the top, I believe. I'm not going to bother with the whole wax thing, but yeah, once it's completely dry, I might just give it a layer of clear varnish to seal it all in. Probably the last time I'll ever use chalk paint. I'm not a fan at all. But yeah, hopefully